Thanks for launching the digital edition of Nightsounds with Bill Pearce's message of hope and encouragement. After you listen to the program, please consider making a contribution to assist us with the cost associated with maintaining these platforms. Just press the Donate tab, where you can securely use your credit card or PayPal account. And now, this is Nightsounds with Bill Pearce.
And a very good evening to you, and a warm welcome to Night Sounds. Bill Pearce here. Night Sounds means that we have about 28 and a half minutes together, you and I. That's good. I'm looking forward to it. If you can think way back to the first thing this morning when you got out of bed and took a look into the mirror, what was your first reaction? I could almost hear somebody say, a scream. No, but really, it wouldn't surprise me that some of you might have looked in there and saw some potential. A little refinement here and there, a touch-up over there. Maybe not too bad. I've subtitled our time together with one word: image. Corporations spend millions of dollars to improve and retain their image. Photographers use the word image to describe their finished product. For instance, the image of a sequoia redwood grove, flattened onto a small black and white rectangle, doesn't express the totality of the original. However, when developed and processed by a master photographer such as Ansel Adams, who does wonders with black and white, it may convey the original essence with great force. Some years ago, there was a prestige auto manufacturing company that had to recall thousands of a certain model of that automobile because there was something wrong with the transmission. When they took it out of neutral, immediately it began to surge forward. And I believe there were something like 700 injuries from this particular malfunction. And it wasn't so much the money they had to spend to recall and repair that problem, but it was their image that suffered. So image means very, very much to many people. If you were to envision the most desirable image that you could transmit, what would it be? If we can get theological for just a moment, and go back into the early words of the Bible, in the first chapter, the book of creation, Genesis. God began to create these incredible wonders from his own power, such as light, the stars and heavenly bodies in the firmament, foliage, animals. Finally, his highest creation was an article of wonder. Let's hear about it in our first music.
In the image of God, we were created. In the image of God, there's no debating. Every tribe, every tongue, every single one, made with great care. In the image of God. Everything that he does with a flavor. It's time to stand, loving our neighbor, hand in hand, working together. In the image of God, we were created. In the image of God, there's no tribe, every tongue,
image of God, the title of that song. Our program tonight is subtitled Image. And this word image is familiar to us. But the meaning of the word has sort of leaked away so that now it connotes virtually the opposite of its former meaning of likeness. Today, a politician hires an image maker. A job applicant dresses for image. A corporation seeks the right image. In all of these usages, image has come to mean the illusion of what something is presented to be, rather than the essence of what it really is. Tonight's program, Image, has me turning to a marvelous book written by a physician, Dr. Paul Brand, along with Philip Yancey, a writer of high repute. The two of them co-authored this book entitled In His Image. He said, think of a 10-pound bundle of protoplasm squirming fitfully in a blanket. The baby's father weighs 15 times as much and has a vastly larger image, larger range of ability and personality. Yet the mother announces proudly that the baby is the spitting image of his dad. And a visitor might look closely. Yeah, there is a resemblance that does exist. It's evident. There is a dimple. Yeah, Dad has one of those too. A peculiar earlobe, a flared nostril. Before long, mannerisms of speech and posture and 1,000 other traits will bring the father unmistakably to mind. These usages of image, applied to the microscope and photograph and offspring, carry a meaning similar to the image that we see around us in God's creation. All shed light on the grand and mysterious phase of the Bible, the image of God. That phrase appears in the very first chapter of the book of Genesis, and its author seems to stutter with excitement, twice affirming a concept just mentioned in the preceding verse. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. The image of God. In the Genesis narrative, Dr. Brand said the concept image of God appears at the consummation of all creation. At each stage of progress, Genesis notes punctiliously, God looks back on his creation and pronounces it good. But creation still lacks a creature to contain God's own image. And only after all that preparation does God announce the culmination of life on earth. He said in chapter 1, verse 26, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." And among all God's creatures, only humanity receives the image of God. That quality separates us from all other forms of life. We possess what no other animal does. We are linked in our essence to God. Sometime later, God discusses with Noah the extent of human dominion over the animals. The quality of the image of God looms up again as a decisive, awesome demarcation between man and other creatures. Killing an animal means one thing. Killing a fellow human is an entirely different matter. Because in the image of God, he has made man. Tonight's program with the title, Image. A few moments ago I mentioned the possibility of our being, not only in the image of God, but beginning to express his attributes. And through God's Spirit, man begins to develop into something that he couldn't have himself. God gives him the power. And tonight, through Jesus Christ, the power is there. And it's merely for our accepting and asking in prayer that he touch you and me with his life, with his creative power, with his essence. There's an old song that perhaps you might remember, those of you who have been into gospel music and hymnody for quite some time. This was written by a woman who was totally blind physically, but she had spiritual insight. Hence the writing of this old song, which I think many of you may remember.
Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. Turn your eyes upon Jesus. Look full in his wonderful face, and the things of earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. In the light of his glory and
The incredible voice of Walter Artis. This is Nightsounds. I'm Bill Pearce with you. And our program title tonight is Image. What God has in mind for us is greater than anything we could imagine. Because he's asking you and me to be the chief bearers of his likeness in the world. As Spirit, he remains invisible on this planet. He relies on us to give flesh to that Spirit, to bear the image of God. And it's true, we see his handiwork around us. If we were to put a leaf under a microscope, we would see it in incredible proportion. As we think together tonight, I just invite you to sort of allow your mind to expand into the possibility of your becoming a bearer of the image of God. The words themselves sort of make us shudder a little bit. At least I speak for myself. I don't feel qualified particularly to bear the image of God, knowing myself and knowing that he knows me better than I do. It's a little unsettling. But he himself, the Creator, has given us this potential and this fantastic possibility That's why we're here tonight, just to remind you that you are a very special person, a very special and distinctive creation. Nobody else on this planet is quite like you. They may be similar, but not really like you. There's something about the imprint of your personality, your voice print, your fingerprints, of course, something that's so uniquely you that you are set apart from all others. Now, that should not bring into our thinking any kind of false pride or conceit, because it's a gift that we can develop with His touch on our lives. A fantastic concept. And for those of you who may have joined us in the past few moments through your radio receiver there, may I inform you that you're in tune with the program Night Sounds. I'm Bill Pearce. And tonight's subtitle is one word, image, a very important word, and process to many people who need to improve their image or enhance it or superpower it. We're bringing in a theological reference throughout our program because the most incredible image that we could possess is the image of God. And each of us is made, created in His image. But through Jesus Christ and the Spirit of God, within our personalities, we can resonate and illustrate the example of our God. Taking just a moment's break here, Night Sounds comes your way on this station just about every night during the week. We come to you with good music, hopefully, that you enjoy. Thoughts about God, thoughts about ourselves and our worlds. And that we will be leaving the air in a few moments. When we do, I've often said we leave something with you that you can hold in your hand, such as compact discs of the music through the years that we've had the privilege of producing, vocally and instrumentally. 2 books entitled Golden Moments and Turning Points. One, a devotional book, the other sort of a composite of some of the material of past programs put into print. Love to hear from you. If we can send you a catalog of the attendant ministries, some of the other products and items of outreach, our mailing address is Nightsounds, Wheaton, Illinois, 60189. Email nightsoundsradio@aol.com. Well, I just enjoy being with you and hope that we can keep this up as a pattern, a relationship, even a good habit. I'm quoting to some degree tonight from an excellent book by a physician, Dr. Paul Brand, and he was depicting his visit to the Sistine Chapel. He said, I visited the Sistine Chapel and its contemporary ambience, far different from what Michelangelo probably had in mind as a setting for his art, because tourists are admitted in groups, running to several hundred, many clasping these little white plastic headphones. They're listening to a recording that guides them through the chapel, and instead of looking up when they walk into the splendid room, they look down, following the trail of red tape that marks off an area where the recording is being transmitted. But nothing can quite prepare the visitors for what they are about to see, on cue, when they're asked to raise their heads. Magnificent works of art cover every inch of the large room. The division of light and darkness, the creation of the sun and the planets, the days of Noah, the Last Judgment. And in the focal center, the calm eye in the swirl of frescoes, Michelangelo has painted the creation of man. Adam's muscular body reclines on the ground in the classical pose of the ancients' river gods. He's lifting up his hand, stretching it out toward heaven, from where God himself reaches down. The hands of God and Adam don't actually touch a gap separates their fingers, like a synapse across the energy of God. In some respects, he said, Michelangelo captured man's creation as no artist ever has. The very word Adam in Hebrew refers to ground or dust. And Adam is set on the physical earth. Yet Michelangelo also expressed Adam's dual nature by portraying the instant when God reaches across the void to convey spiritual life. Tonight's program, Image. At this point, for a moment, I'd like to focus on another of God's creative power in the heavens, the sun, that great shining body, source of light and heat 90 million miles from our shores. Capital S-U-N, sun. The hymn writer used this body of light and heat, equating it with Jesus, the Son of righteousness. One of the old hymns, Son of my soul. Thou Savior dear, it is not night if thou be near. The Ralph Carmichael Chorus in an a cappella fashion to sing this great old hymn.
Son of my soul, thou Savior dear, it is not night if thou be near. O may no earth one cloud arise to hide thee from thy servant's eyes. Come near and bless us when we wake. There through the world our way we take, till in the ocean of thy love, we lose ourselves in
The Ralph Carmichael a cappella chorus, the great hymn Son of My Soul, in our program tonight with the title Image. Leona Choi wrote, O light of the world, who touched your flame to my candle, you call me now to light my world. I need your light, O Lord, as sunlight to awaken me from my lethargy, to light my way when I stumble in the darkness, to warm me in the chills of life. Light too near won't do. I'm stunned and disoriented by its dazzling brilliance. Turn on your light, O Lord. Light up my life. I surrender to your exposure. Dispel the shadows of my dark room and all those hidden things it harbors, all that would alienate my soul from your pure light. Creator of all, who commanded, let there be light, and there was light, so let the light of your countenance rest upon me day and night, even to this moment. O Lord, my light and my salvation, whom then shall I fear when you are near? This is a fantastic truth, and it's a possibility for you and me tonight, right now, in these moments together, as we consider the factor of image and the promise of Jesus, who said, "I am the light of the world. He who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life." And I believe this nation has had an increased awareness of spiritual need corporately. And as individuals, God has given us each a choice to say yes or no to Him. It's a very dangerous liberty. Let's not be threatened by it, but take advantage of His offer of love, resonance, and a brand new image. It's the choice of a lifetime. Well, I want to thank you for your listening time tonight, for joining us on Night Sounds, and I hope we can do this again in a few short hours for more. In the interim, may God touch you in a very special way, make you something very significant and unique to other people. Have a great day tomorrow, and until we meet again, a peaceful good night to you.